All right. Hello and welcome to Business in Lahles, session 23. Well, since we had last week off, let's go ahead and see how everyone's couple weeks were. I know most of us were playing games, playing Valheim and stuff through the week. So let's just go with Trace, since we hadn't talked to him the longest.
Good.
You only actually needed one good. Since Kadir was playing your character, he said good for you. So
It doesn't
true.
count.
yeah, well, I think it does.
Nope.
It at least half counts. I think the math is off here.
25% at the minimum. That's the lowest I'm willing to go.
Okay, I'm going to go with good go then.
Krev, how have you been?
Good. Just, all Valheim all last week, pretty much.
Reckon?
Also some Valheim, a little bit of Overwatch, busy at work, but good.
And Onyx?
Super busy at work and lots of leave throughout the week.
Kadir?
Work was hell. Next week it won't be.
Vacation or just easier
Nah,
week?
just a easier week. There's I have 1 week every month where I just have to drive all of the meetings, and it's just it's rough.
That week where you got to hit the grindstone. And it's
Yeah,
it's never fun.
it's always a relief to get past it.
Yep. After tomorrow, I feel like my week probably chalks up to somewhat of the same. Not like a team lead like you are, but this week we don't have that many sales, so I'm basically going into stores with nothing really to pitch. Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But either way, again, since we did have last week off, whoever would like to take the lead on the recap, feel free. If there's stuff you can't remember or anything of that nature from just having last week off, then I can fill in a bit, of course, but I'll open the floor up to each of you.
Matt, you normally have good notes.
Hold on, I'm still opening up the. Here's my
So-
notes.
We'd finished the fight with the remaining 1T. I remember. There was much teamwork was had. Everyone survived, and Trace nailed 2 or 3 crits and absolutely ended at least one of the bosses. We did take one of their sergeants captive, or lieutenants, one of the stronger 1T that seems to be, I don't know, coherent. And we found a portal that was suspended above a watery pit. It seemed old. We stepped up to the plate, and while I was casting Identify on it, Onyx literally just stepped right in. It was, I don't think we ever really shared out of character or in character what she saw, but, we remember you saying that she almost died. Something about walls of eyes. It sounded really eldritch horror in there. Whole another universe of pain kind of situation. She stepped out of the portal unscathed. And we immediately ran our asses to the surface. Found, what's his face?
Renus, I think.
Renus.
Bradgar, yeah.
Yes. Found Renus. Sealed the portal behind us. Made the 1T look like a drunk man so we wouldn't attract too much attention. Tied a bag over his head. Arms. Not his head, his arms, because he had snake arms. Normal head. Never really know with 1T.
The point is, we're trying to figure out what to do with the portal, whether they gotta close it or. I think we spoke with Bradgar too about it, right?
We did.
Yeah.
We
Very briefly, yes.
Yeah, we're just basically trying to figure out if they want to use it or just dispel it.
Mm-hmm. He I was kind of happy with Bradgar because it seemed like he was it felt like he was kind of on our side for once, and that's nice to not feel like we're enemies.
Yeah, most of the session was finishing up that combat. I think we got into close to round 9 or 10. I mean, in-game wise, a full minute over fighting. But for us, so nearly the entire session. But with each of you making your way out, just speaking briefly to Venus, while re-listening to it, you guys did place a bag over the arms because of the arms being mainly made up of snakes' bodies and heads. But there was also one placed over his head. Not that big of a deal, but that's just the only difference that I had.
And we were going to interrogate him too.
Yeah, which that's where we ended up stopping Trace, just so you're aware. So then that way, like, you ended up really only missing combat and then bringing back the prisoner.
Nice.
But that was pretty good, Kadir. Did you? That was reading notes, wasn't it? That wasn't off of memory.
Is my spell slots, etc. up to date?
If I'm not mistaken, the only thing that Trace had done in the combat was Hunter's Mark and normal attacks.
Okay. And I did 100 mark the previous session, so makes sense. All good.
Anybody have anything else before I give a little bit of a narrative and get us into tonight's game? All right. Well, with that silence, I will begin with this. So we pick back up our game with this. On April 24th, year 1101, as it nears midday, each of you have gathered in Bragdar's office, along with Bradar, Renus dispatching following Braddar's orders in order to bring nearly 50 individuals, along with himself, to investigate and potentially seal off, destroy the portal. And with that, Orth and Nalra had also excused themselves while each of you had gone up to Braddar's office, being quite overwhelmed with the combat that had occurred earlier in the day. The Yanti prisoner, bound by ropes and manacles, is still blinded by the sack that you placed over his head. Each of you sees the Yanti still breathing, the breaths slow. This is when Bradar pipes up and says, "Well, if this beast has been asleep for a few minutes, as you stated, I think it's been long enough for him to recoup." And then Bradgar reaches over slowly and begins to remove the sack from the Yanti's head. As he does so, you can see that the Yanti's eyes are still closed. Well, Bradar pulls up the sleeve from his robe, extending his right hand a bit. Physical or with water? How do you think that we should wake him?
Oh. Water. Yeah. Water.
I was kind of inclined to just give him a swift slap across the face, but...
Ooh. I like the slapping.
What? Could do both? Yeah, both.
How about we
A
slap him with
water
water?
slap.
Just dip your hand in water, it's all wet, and slap.
Make sure he doesn't bite you when you do that with your hand.
Combining the best of both worlds. Well, and then he will go over to his desk, grab a goblet, and as he pours a bit of wine over his hand, stretches back his right arm, and gives the Yanti a swift smack across the face.
Wasting good wine on yon tea. What has this world come to?
The Yanti hisses, the eyes clutching themselves like just shut real tight. It seems that a bit of the wine has trickled in. Nice of you to awaken, Bradgar says.
Do you speak their language?
I do not. I can do a few tricks in order to communicate, but with Onyx and Kadir, knowing their tongue, well,
I think we'll need that, because I don't think they understand our language.
well then. Yanti looking back and forth, just still bound, surrounded by the 6 of you. Flicks its tongue, licks its lips a bit, and then just continues to stare.
What? No begging? No pleading for your life?
Met with silence. As the head just kind of turns towards you, the eyes meeting yours.
Well, it's fine. We have other ways. We can always... we could always take what we have easily. Or, I'm sorry, we could go the easy way, or perhaps the harder one, if that is what you would prefer.
Before this happens, before the UNT answers or not answers, whatever, Trace sits down on his knees and focuses on the UNT's body to see if he uses any body language at all. Like, is he afraid? Is he scared? Is he confident? Anything? Can I read anything from his body language? And I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Can you give me an insight check, but at disadvantage?
I always have advantage in this inside check, so it's just normal roll.
Then just a normal roll then for you.
Oh, oops.
Hey, 17's
Seven-
pretty
se-
good.
17, yeah.
Oh, as you're studying, you can, you see notably that the breath rate has increased quite a bit from when he was previously in the unconscious state. You get one of 2 feelings: fear or adrenaline.
Okay, so he does react to Kadir's question.
Indeed.
Okay. Go on. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. That was a pretty good interrupt, if I do say. But with that, Kadir, more moments of silence pass before you finally have words parse from his lips. Why not just kill me? Why am I here?
Well, I suppose killing would be too easy, wouldn't it? I mean, for you have struck such pain into the people here. I would suppose you should suffer for it, shouldn't you? I mean, kidnapping as many people, murdering as you have. Do you think we are such barbarians as you?
I think he is. As you see him turn his attention, baring his fangs a bit as he finishes that sentence, looking towards Bradgar.
Oh yes, I have no doubts that he could show you a great many horrible things. Are you telling me that you want to find out what those are?
I will not speak.
Well, if I were to guess, I would say if you know to refer to him, then you know what great atrocities he could reveal upon your body. There's nobody else here. If there were a chance to make any good on what comes next, even just preventing yourself such horrific pain, Now would be the time. I would love to make a persuasion check.
I feel like it might be a little bit more under intimidation with the threat of a bad time and pain.
Okay. Where is the guidance button? All right, I don't know where the guidance button is, so. And all right.
But while you're having this bit of conversation, Bradgar will pipe up and just ask, like, what is he saying? What is devilish things does he speak?
He fears you greatly. He seems to believe you have that you are capable of visiting atrocities on him.
And with that intimidation roll, you are met with him just a bit of a smirk, and then he will spit at you.
Oh, so unkind. Well, does anyone else have any particular ideas, or should we just get to work?
Maybe ask him about the portal.
He does not seem inclined to speak unless about such matters.
Maybe take advantage of the impression that he has about Bradgar. Use it to. Well, I guess it depends on whether he fears this ability of Bradgar to torture.
If he fears me, as you said, I'm more than happy to beat some answers out of him.
I would. You said you have manners of ascertaining his language, yes?
Indeed.
I would suggest using them. Do you have any? I'll lean in closer. Do you have the ability to detect thoughts?
Let me recheck. It's not what I was thinking, but you got a big spell book, so hold on.
You'd have to understand the language too, though.
It's
Kind
not
of.
the size that matters.
I mean, for wizards, it is.
It's how you use it, man.
Well,
No,
for
I don't
wizards,
think
it's
it's
both.
in there.
Unfortunate. Well, if that is how you feel, I suppose we could just begin removing pieces of you. Tell me, Snake Man, this is. Do you have a name, at least? I would like this to be a little more personal.
Remaining true to the previous words, nothing is said.
All right. I will call you Spit.
Nice.
So, Spit, which part of you would you like me to remove first? Where would you like to start? Oh, and it can't be something that will kill you. So, not your head, your heart, or all of your blood, so speaking. Your choices so far are fingers and toes.
Uh,
Radgar will begin to cast a spell at this point, which catches the attention of this Yuan-Ti. While nothing else is said from the Yuan-Ti, Bradgar does finish his spell and begins speaking in tongues.
I wish I like pull like slowly pull Kitty aside and whisper to him for a moment. If we're going to do any kind of torture or whatever, it would actually be kind of helpful if I pull out I have a vial of poison. If you test this on him, just so we know how they react to poison.
Well, or do we believe that there is any chance it could kill him?
Though this wouldn't kill him, it'll do some damage, maybe. Just to you can just do a little pinch, I guess. I'm just wondering if he's resistant to poison, even immune. Would be nice to know.
Reckon, you're good with your fist, right?
Yeah.
Did you, see what you can get out of him?
I will make an unarmed strike. Specifically, does it look like he has external genitals?
It seems unlike. I don't think snakes have external genitals,
don't
but
think so.
That's all right. I'm going for it. All right.
we're not even
Send
sure
him-
that he.
Right in the gooch.
And that's a pretty heavy strike. And as you punch, you'll note that it hiss starts, but then it just seems that the air begins to escape like a bit of a as it just kind of pitters out.
All right. Let's ask him again.
Are you interested in saying anything about the portal downstairs and where it leads?
You can go ahead and give me an intimidation check, this time at advantage. The one that sealed us will not learn anything. As he turns, the eyes focusing on Bradgar.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? The mic skipped out.
The one that sealed us will learn nothing.
Does he seem to be gesturing to anyone in the room?
Other than looking to Bradgar as he says this, then that's pretty much it. Bradgar, of course, after casting his spell, will give a little bit of a chuckle. Your people have been gone for thousands of years. How could a simple man such as myself do such things?
Can I have an insight check against that?
On which statement? Bradgar's or the Yuan-Ti's?
Bradgar's.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
There we go. All right, and now we play the waiting game.
Drum roll, please.
All right, so I had advantage on, shouldn't have. It's an 11.
Yeah, from what the information that you've learned before, with Renus and Bradgar both telling you that they had been sealed away, not by Bradgar, but by his family, his great-grandfather, or great-great-great-grandfather kind of thing, as far as many greats as you need to go. And then with that information, I'll just leave it there from your roll.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You can keep your morals. We have others that we can ask, and well, Reckitt's not tired yet. if you would so do the honors, good record.
Oh,
Maybe pour some of the poison in a wound or something.
whack.
With this one, the pain is too much as the eyes grow heavy, and he begins to be pass out.
All right. Well,
Well, I think you hit him a bit too hard this time, and this is when Bradgar will reach into the desk, grabbing a small red vial with a red liquid inside. Each of you recognizing this as a healing potion, and uses just a bit, giving the auntie a sip, and then the eyes reopen. Bradgar will then say, "We can continue this as long as this vial remains, well, filled with this wonderful, wonderful liquid."
I actually think Trace is going to step outside. He
okay.
actually is.
Trace, you're going to go downstairs just for a couple drinks?
I'm just going to step outside the door.
Okay. So, you step outside, your auntie awakens. This time, at this point, can each of you give me an insight check, except for you, Trace, being outside now?
God blast it. 11 again. Jesus Christ. Why aren't you rolling insight more often, Wrecked? Jesus.
Kadir, as you just turn your head for a brief moment watching Trace and exit the office, the rest of you, Krev, Onyx, Rekid, notice quite a bit of a facial expression change. He is definitely afraid at the moment. You can see the fear in his eyes.
So, about the portal, is there anything you'd like to tell us? No? Nothing? It's
It's not a portal, as it is more of a seal.
what is it sealing?
Us.
But you are already here.
And more will come.
See, I like you so much more when you are talkative, Spit. Or is there another name you would like to give us instead?
Soafil.
Soafil. Very well. Thank you for being cooperative. So you have, so obviously you have many, many more friends. We already presumed as much. You seem to return with more every day. If they are sealed away, how is that so, Soafil?
His head just turns, looking back towards Bradgar.
You know, Soafil, we can offer you other comforts instead of perhaps this dastardly pain. We could. This doesn't need to be an awful conversation. It could be a nice one, held with chairs under next to a warm fire. It does not need to be awful unless it is made so, Soafil.
Set me free, and I will tell you what you want.
Well, I don't think we can do that just yet. We need, if you are going to, if we were to set you free, we would need to, we would need assurances. And I'm afraid you do not have that leverage currently, Soafil, though it pains me to say.
What is it that you want?
Well,
This
for
insurance.
for now, we want information. Uh, well, Soafil, perhaps your crimes may be, uh, perhaps if you make a certain amount of alliances to our side, enough that we believe you won't betray us, give us enough information about what we have seen down in those sewers, then perhaps we could give you comfort and set you free. Could
Bradgar
that be a
will add in.
persuasion?
Bradgar will add into that with to give you advantage on the persuasion and saying, or we could continue these previous methods, which I would much prefer not to.
Well, here we go. That's a casual 25.
I will tell you what I know
Very well.
in exchange for my freedom.
I look to Bradgar and I give him a nod.
If this one's willing to talk with such truthful words, well then, perhaps we could find a home. The world is vast.
Yes, although, well, I think that is fair. The so Soafil, tell us more. What did we see in the sewers? Who was that rather large, multi-headed snake being?
Our leash.
Your liege. What was she doing down there?
A little smirk comes across the face of the auntie. Checking on the children.
And who are the children in this instance?
We all are.
So the children sealed on the other side of that portal?
And a little bit of a nod. Many have already come. The dense spread.
Is there a limit on how many come through?
Thousands will come. And then more to follow.
Hmm. So, what you are saying is that the queen was escorting new children into this world through that portal, and then swimming out through that large eddy in that large water source, water basin.
One of 3 queens has gone. The king comes with the rest.
Oh, so the king is still sealed. I would love to make an insight check on all this, by the way.
Yes, please do. Still at advantage.
Yep, thanks. I need it with my devastatingly high +2. 17, actually not
Well,
bad.
with the on fire that you're doing with the guidance with the 4s, it's almost like a +6, right?
Yeah.
But everything that he said is true. The only thing that seems, I guess, more of a bit odd is just the mention of queens, the multiple. Not so much that it's a lie, but that's the only thing that really kind of sticks out.
So tell me, why is it that your queens have multiple heads? Or is that why you call them queens?
That's what he likes. The king desires. And we answer.
Hard pass. All right. Well, I suppose to each their own. So the king, why hasn't he come yet?
Soon. The seal weakens. And the portal grows.
Ah. So tell me, why you are just so very forthcoming, and we very much appreciate all this help you are offering. Uh, much of it, much of it we have already known or suspected. But so why is it that you, the one T, are capturing the villagers or the denizens of Laos?
Slaves.
So you're not turning them into one T?
They don't deserve the gift.
That is a little unexpected. I had presumed for you to have been coming so many so quickly, you must have been adapting the villagers to your way. It seems an awful waste.
They make for good meat and, well, better at building.
Is that how your castle in the water has come about so quickly? Or perhaps it was already there.
Then it's time.
Then it's time. Did I hear that correctly? My abyssal is not quite what it used to be.
Just met with a nod. Yes. It is time.
Tell me, what is it time for, Sophie?
For him to come.
Yes, well, we would prefer to create a welcoming party for him. Does he have a name?
And as he gives you just a cold look, staring straight into your eyes, Kadir, you feel as if just all like feeling of emotion or pain is not emotion of pain in like in just like that specific sense does not seem to necessarily like protrude from his eyes. Like he doesn't give you any feeling that he knows, like that kind of emotional style.
Huh. So I'm guessing you gave that to me because of the 17 insight.
Yeah, so with the insight, when like he looks at you with that, I guess like a better way to like describe it is like with that like that emotional status. It's I guess a more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Disconnection with like any other formality besides the king.
I'm not quite sure what to make of that. A disconnection with any other formality besides the king.
Yeah, like that's the only thing that they like reference him as.
Well, I suppose that is something to go on. Do the queens have any name? Or are the queens newer emplacements in the royalty?
They come and go when the king is done.
He seems like a fantastic person. Or, well, 1T. Apologies. Well, is there, I believe I do not have any more questions. This is more than enough for me to go on. Bradgar, is there anything you would like to ask? Our very kind friend.
What is with the intent with the encampment to the east? But then the auntie just responds with nothing, just silence.
When you say I speak out in common, when you say encampment, do you mean what do you refer to?
Responding in common, we've had reports that with the East River damaging the bridge, not as severely as the West, but putting it almost nearly out of commission. Still a dangerous pass. Villagers have decided to leave, but only one has made it back. Reports that these heathens are capturing travelers along the road and also raiding the town of Whitebridge. And if it's for slaves, as he speaks, well, I'm quite worried that perhaps something else might be growing off in the forest. But that may be for another time. I need to know how long do we have before this king, as he says, arrives? If the time is soon or now, well, does that mean it will come through the portal?
That is a wonderful question. Soafil, how long is it until your king arrives, until we meet him?
And he just gives that nice smirk that he's continuously done with some of the questions that you've asked him, and then he just responds to you with this one, Kadir. I don't know.
Can I, honestly, even if he did know, there's no guarantee. Like we would have a lot of difficulty guaranteeing that nothing from that point was a lie. Could I get a feeling for whether or not he actually knows? Insight?
Yeah, go ahead if you'd like to insight again.
Okay. Is this advantage or not?
Yes,
Advantage.
this one is still advantage.
Okay. 16.
He does not know. The best answer that he can give you is just what he already has. Soon.
Very well. Well, in that case, the answer, Bradgar, is soon. This one does not seem to know that. I mean, as you heard, he does not seem to know he does not seem to know certain elements of information, such as the king's name. Only that he is powerful and obviously intends great ill for this town.
Well, perhaps it's best to keep him in the cellar for now. Keep him chained and locked up until he feels that there may be more that he'd like to share with us.
I suppose that is fair. We did say we would set him free, but we did not say when.
Indeed, I have a feeling in the pits of my stomach that he's not telling us everything.
Yes, perhaps it is too soon for such things.
Perhaps our
Besides-
friend Rekket had knocked him too hard on the head. Maybe give him some time.
Or perhaps he does have testicles down there.
Or did.
Ah,
And then with that, just to pass along the information, like Bradgar and Kadir Onyx can begin relaying the information, just so that way Krev and Rekid and Trace, if you'd like to come back in, unless you had something else that you had in mind, Trace.
No. I just
Oh.
don't think Trace is a fan of torch in general. Well, he doesn't like to look at it, at least, so why left.
Soafil, one other question. Are there any other portals besides the one we located?
No. It's the only way for us to come.
So if
For now.
Thank you. All right. Very well. Perhaps we should take him to his cell.
I guess so.
Oh, the sun is still out. By the sounds of it, it does seem that Renus was able to gather the men needed. It seems that it's quieted down a bit downstairs, but we'll have some of the members make sure that this one finds it comfortable down in his temporary home.
Very well.
And then with that, that's when Bradgar will give a bit of a whistle. And with that, then you'll just begin to hear some footsteps coming up the stairs. 2 individuals arrive. Just faces you had seen around, but nobody of note. And Bradgar will then, with the other 2 guild members, begin to escort him away. Well, while we tuck this one away, please enjoy food, drinks, whatever it is that each of you would need for some rest. That smell that you're trying to cover up, well, it's still a bit strong, to say the least.
I think we need to go get bathed, and rest. We're pretty exhausted.
I agree.
Yes.
Soafil, it was a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm happy we could meet you as begrudging acquaintances instead of enemies.
Oh, forgive me. Your friends from their names escape me at the moment. Orth and Nalra. Well, I did not see them with you. Did they make it out?
They have.
Well then. And then with that, he begins to go down the stairs, leading the auntie down into the cellar.
Did Soafil have any parting words?
None.
Well, I mean, it's better than getting executed, which is 100% the direction I thought that was going to go. Like, I thought legit it was going to, like, yeah, I said I would free you from this existence, and then chops his head off or something. So, that's kind of how I expected that to go. To be perfectly honest, I do not seem to be much good at the the inspiring fear thing, though. But Rekid, you have quite the fists.
Magic fingers.
So with that, each of you can make your way downstairs, and I mean, at the moment, there are no tasks, or at least orders, as Trace likes them to be called.
Yes.
Accurate.
So, are we heading for the temple now?
Well, I think I'm honestly not sure. The situation seems a bit more dire than we originally believed.
Did we learn anything about the portal from the UNT?
Yes, it seems that there is one who yet remains to pass through the portal, as well as a king of terrible power, but also many and hundreds, if not thousands, of his cohorts. So there is more hell where this came from.
So we need to find the portal and destroy it.
We already know where the portal is.
Oh, for you meant another portal, sorry.
Uh, oh no, I think we just need to either block or destroy the portal that remains down there. Perhaps we could collapse the passage entirely.
Wouldn't Venus know how to destroy a magical portal like that?
Renus or Bradgar, I would presume, yes. Maybe it can be resealed.
Oh. I prefer destroy. But yes.
If it were possible to destroy, I feel this is something that would have already happened long ago. Why seal them if you could seal them and destroy them?
That's a fair assumption.
I expect this portal to be indestructible or to have some other quality that makes it. What is the term I search for? To make it obfuscated? Obfuscable?
Hmm.
Difficult to understand.
Yeah, I get that.
This is when the barmaid comes over to the table. Well, looks like each of you had quite a bit of the morning. And could start you off with the usuals. Some drinks, rabbit.
I'll look at her for a moment. Rabbit. Fried, not stirred.
Of course. 2 cups of ale for you. Gesturing towards you, Rekid.
I
And then fruit for the lady. Then the specials is usually what the rest get. Today we have some nice pork, sliced with some potatoes, carrots, and beans.
I look at my friends and say, "Oh, pork, a poor man's rabbit."
Oh my
I'll take a pint of health potion.
god. I will just have a soup, thank you. Whichever one you have the most of.
Oh, soup, a poor man's rabbit.
Is that going to be your catchphrase for literally everything now? Because I'm okay
Yes.
with it.
Well, maybe.
It's like,
Oh,
of course,
crits.
a poor man's rabbit.
We'll be right back. Just should take a few moments.
So, well, I'll catch up the group in a quiet tone on everything that they might not have understood. Um, more or less indicating that I think we were successful. And that whatever comes next is probably scarier than what we've already seen.
That was pretty scary though.
Yes, it was certainly not pleasant. The giant snake lady in the sewers, yes. What's at the very least, though, I think this puts us in a position to make a decision. We could perhaps seal the room off entirely, collapse it, and perhaps that would even, if it does not destroy the portal, then it would perhaps block it under so much earth that perhaps it cannot be used.
The sewers were already sealed, and yet they've been still getting into the city. I think they've been using that pool below the
Okay.
portal to get into the city.
The basin, yes. It seems. I'm not sure where that leads yet, because if that was already there, then they would have used that to escape in the first place. Yes?
Escape what?
The sewers.
Well, I think the portals was how they came from their world.
Yes. But the thing is, I don't. If that was the case, that implies that when we opened that area, we were not the ones who released them, that they were merely becoming unsealed.
Maybe it was related to somebody exploring magic. We don't know. They could have been trying to learn magic and opened a portal for magical research and made a terrible mistake.
At any rate, I'm willing to bet that that basin of water was not there originally, and that it may be a more recent development.
Well, if they've been burrowing to get away, they may have been finding a way out of the sewers by digging that basin.
That is my inclination as well. So the snakes were imprisoned a long time ago, and the seal seems to be wearing free over time. At first, this led to just a few snakes, but when we had unsealed the room, it had released them into the sewers at large, allowing them to escape and perhaps allowing the rest of the snakes to have somewhere to go. But if we just collapse the room, perhaps we could stop the flow, so to speak. Maybe we would never have to deal with this king, and perhaps we could just kill the queens and be done with it.
We just encase it in stone or something.
That could work, potentially.
Yes, it does not need to be destroyed.
If they try to teleport through and they're just crushed by concrete.
or they try to develop a concrete, or just collapsing the entire area. If there are so many boulders that there is no hope of tunneling through, that would work as well.
That is true. Is explosive something we know about in general?
Gunpowder, not a thing.
Okay. Any of you casters happen to have shape earth or something?
Gunpowder, not a thing, but there are records of medieval people being assassinated with explosive amounts of manure. I mean,
Well,
it
as
can
Trace had said one time before, to the
Shit.
laboratory.
Didi, no. It's like,
I mean, there are other ways of producing explosions that have nothing to do with gunpowder.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention magic, right? Like,
Not the least of which is magic.
I mean, what?
But-
I mean, never mind. That's a little off topic. Go on.
But do we have any? Do any of you guys have any spells that could do the job for us? Shatter? I don't know.
Shatter would do, yeah.
are you just trying to cave it in, or what are you trying
Yeah,
to?
basically.
What? I feel like they can move dirt and loose stone, though. I feel like we want to properly seal this in with architecture.
Is cement a thing?
I don't know.
At this point, can each of you give me a perception check, please?
Now that you ask nicely, sure. Ooh.
Do.
Onyx. Okay, 16. Not bad. Trace and Rekid, both of you catch the attention of the barmaid returning with your drinks, food, and everything of the sort that you had placed for an order. Krev, Kadir, and Onyx. The three of you will notice the barmaid returning with the order as well, but off just a few tables away from you, the three of you will spot Orth and Nalra. Orth looking quite rough, and physically and emotionally. Nalra looking defeated, seeming to be carrying a lot of weight on her shoulders.
Like figuratively speaking.
Yes.
Is there anyone walking away from them as if they'd just spoken?
No, from the look around, it seems that it's still kind of the same. They just seem to be more separated from the rest of the guild. No one really seems to want to mingle and interact with them. Then this is when the order will be placed. Well, here each of you go. And if there's anything else, well, just holler.
Thank you. Are there other seats at their table?
Yes.
I was gonna say maybe we should invite them over here.
Very well.
Might be a little more friendly, warming.
Walk over to Orthanara then.
Nara, still having like her head down, just looking at the table. Orth kind of catches you out of the corner of his eye, picks his head up a bit. Well, as if it's not the man of the hour.
I will not presume as much, but we would love your company at our table. We would hate for you. We would hate for your company to go wasted.
That sounds nice. And with each of them grabbing their drinks, Nara gives you a bit of a smile. Thank you. And both will make their way over to the table and sit. Well, what'd you learn from the guy upstairs? Anything good?
No, not in particular. Honestly, I think we're about as crestfallen as you are, right? As you look. But we will find a way. We always have, and we always will.
Well, the only thing that seems to be good here is since we're assisting, at least the ale's free.
Tell me, is it better than the ale from home, or no taste, nothing, just like it?
It's different. I'm not too fond of it, but I can see why the others like it.
What is the ale or the alcohol from Mito usually made from? With the mountains, I'm presuming it's like a grape base, but
So, with the little bits of farmland and like the mountains that are in that area, there are some like grape-based ones, but most of it being brewed with a cactus water base.
ooh, that's interesting. I feel like that's information that you've just had sitting in a book somewhere, like waiting for the day that someone might ask.
It was like the same time when someone asked me, "So are there like a moon cycle?" And I was like, "Yes, thank you." But I mean, I try not to just like hand out too much, detail. Sometimes it's just too much.
Eh? It doesn't go appreciated unless it's asked for. So that makes sense.
But, uh, I mean, other than that, I almost seem to feel as if we signed up for just a suicide mission.
Yes, I know the feeling, but uh, we can stick together, and with us watching our back and you watching ours, we will be fine. We will make it.
Well, look, and like Orth kind of like leans in a bit and gets a bit more of a hushed tone, which each of you find a bit odd, being a more loud and boisterous individual.
Yeah.
Well, is there a place that maybe a little bit safer to talk than here?
Yes. Where are you? Do you know where you are staying?
We've been staying here.
That doesn't seem quite right. We need to find a comfortable place for you and of course Nara to have her privacy. It only seems right. There were not to be insensitive, but there were soldiers left with them, right? There were like five that had survived, right? Or did those die too?
I think they had like a total of like 7-ish, like somewhere in that ballpark. I can look back at the notes.
Your compatriots, they are still they are. I haven't seen them here today. They are still here, yes.
Yeah, the ones that are left. Well, after that slaughter.
Well, I mean, perhaps we could go find you some place to stay. I mean, I'm sure with all the people that have been kidnapped, there are houses around this area that may remain vacant. So perhaps there is a place we can make safe for you.
Yep, you were right. It was 5 members and 7 in total with Nalva North.
Yep. Uh,
Uh,
I
where had each of you been staying? We thought that you all slept here. Do you not have your own rooms?
we have another place. We are friends with a very prestigious member of the guild, and we stay with him.
it's not too much to ask, can we stay?
I do not know that he has enough room. Well, I mean, if it is just the two of you, I suppose we could make it work. We could. Yes, we could go speak with him.
The one that took us to the sewers, right?
Yes, yes. He's a kind man.
He just gathered some men and was heading back.
Well, we shouldn't be walking into his place without his knowledge. He does like his privacy.
Why would they go back?
To see
What are they going to do?
They are going to my knowledge. Actually, I do not know. Does anyone know what Bergar's intentions were for the portal?
They're probably going to check it out, and then I don't know if they'll decide there or if they'll come back and talk about it. But probably going to just see it for themselves.
Yes, I think that is likely at first.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if more of them came through. I hope they're okay going through to check it out.
Well,
We still don't know what happened to that queen.
well,
She could still be in that basin and pop out when they're there.
oh no, I do wish to check on Renus.
Probably not a bad idea. I mean, we told him.
I tell you what, Renus will be here later tonight. We will meet with you. We will meet with you once he returns, and we will introduce you. Perhaps he can offer space for you. Do I get the feeling that he's afraid of something?
Why don't each of you go ahead and give me an insight check?
Fuck. Why do you keep doing this to me?
I like to hear you struggle.
I can feel like Rekid wringing his hands from over here. It's like, yes, the one thing that I took proficiency in.
So each of you feel that there is something that he is afraid of. Krev, Rekid, and Kadir, you're fairly certain it is something from within the guild. More than likely Bradgar himself.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that. The enemy's scared of him. The allies are scared of him. We're scared of him.
He probably hasn't had a good attitude around them and knowing what what's her face wants.
You know what I want to ask him is how the fuck old he is. Like, I don't know, a quarter past 700 years.
I mean, if you know, Bradgard knows what Samira wants, you know, having him gone, he's probably gonna not give the guild the best treatment, you know, to her people. He's probably.
Are you saying this as players or like in game?
Oh, this is all.
Right,
I mean, that was out of character. Yeah.
Just making sure.
Sorry.
I mean, just for like an example, like if you guys were like talking out of character, then we're like right about something, and I thought it was in character, then you know, not giving anything away or confirming or confirming.
So, trying to think if I would even bring that up to them. Has Bradgar been not treating you with hospitality?
Well, with the short time that we've been here, he seems to have a bit of an out for us. After just returning from that battlefield and then asking that we tag along with the last endeavor. I'm quite unsure why he didn't just send the others first. Why us?
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, was he upset with you at all, or was he just sending you on the mission you thought didn't seem right?
Other than orders, the man doesn't talk to us. Nara will just shake her head and say, he just seems to be a bit distant, but it's not just his attitude.
I don't know. I mean, as you know, that he and Samira don't get along. I mean, that's obviously when we first met with her. You know that.
Well, if
I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised Samira even agreed to help us.
well, yes,
Clearly, they have a past relationship, and neither of them want to talk about it.
that is very, very true.
Well, Samira should be here within a week's time.
We will.
The new
we will
month,
do our,
she should arrive.
we will do our best to protect you until then.
Listen, what else does this town have to offer? Any, well, special treats or anything that you found in your stay?
Oh, some
Well,
seashells.
They serve wonderful rabbit most places, yeah. And don't go buying snakes. That's a bad idea, apparently. That's basically what I know.
Well, we have heard of people making their way out to the east with the bridge destroyed to the west. But it seems that the road is a bit dangerous.
Yes, it does seem that everyone here is more or less stuck. The only way I would suggest out for anyone is through the forest to the north. It does not. It does not seem likely that the snakes would have gone north. Reptiles hating the cold, what they do.
You mean up to the cities north of us, or the city, or the forest just here in Lahles?
Through the forest to the north and north from there.
I was gonna say because we definitely ran into them when we were coming into town in the forest.
Yeah, and that was like more to that was like more towards like the western river. To me from the
Yeah,
map.
your guys' big fight was in like that location.
Yeah,
And
I'm not. It
they
looks like there might be a thin area in the river right there. Is what I'm
Yeah.
referring to.
you guys did find the river to be thinning as like you were going more north in your previous endeavor. Well, if there's not much to do around here, perhaps it's best that we just maybe get away from here for a bit of time until your friend returns. I think a walk will do both Orth and I quite well.
yes, I would just suggest staying away from the waterfront to the south.
We've heard. Would each of you care to join?
I feel like that's a really important question. But I mean, I don't think we're really doing anything else, are we?
No.
We were kind of just waiting on Renus, but I think we were also kind of concerned about him going into the sewer. Do we know who he was going with?
I think we need to start a short rest, honestly.
I agree. Can we walk around with them and do a short rest at the same time, since we're just walking?
Well, short rest is 8 hours.
Oh, duh. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. No problem. But
I
I mean,
meant-
yes, you can. But it like just gotta do the 8 hours.
Right. I mean, it's kind of morning, isn't it? Didn't we start that battle at the beginning of the day? It's probably like late morning.
I think it's like 11 or 10 or something.
Well, plus
Yes.
interrogation time.
From
I'm assuming.
what the
it's-
positioning of the sun when you all had come out of the sewer, the sun was near the highest peak, so you assuming it to be near midday.
Okay. So, I mean, we have 8 hours of daytime, pretty much, or not quite, to just walk around town and rest.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. I don't really know what to do, to be honest.
Do we have? So the question, I guess, is: do we have to sit down in one place to do a short rest, or can we just like casually stroll?
You can casually stroll, like, taking care of shopping and things like that. Like that kind of maneuver is not considered vigorous activity. Like traveling is definitely a bit more difficult because you're carrying all of your equipment and all that kind of stuff. Ready for battle. I guess that's kind of where the difference is. But inside town, you're good.
I would like to restock on arrows. That should.
Oh yeah, I need to restock on darts.
Um,
Well, to be fair, I mean, we
Could-
never tested the poison. I'm just because I have poison arrows. I'm afraid of using against UNT. I guess I could just leave them here and just bring normal arrows.
could we do? Could we make an assessment for like what if there are any like high end or high quality shops left in Lahles? For like arms, armor, that kind of thing.
We need to sell, well, not with these guys around. But
Yeah.
we need to take care of that. Yeah.
For
That's-
for anything to do with like combat related, everything has been referenced that you guys have found to go towards the guild.
Okay.
But for like high-end shops with like even just like fabric or clothing, most of those are now making like war material. So the like more of their inventory is not growing versus just attempting to make, I guess, like shitty armor because they're not being necessarily their craft.
Okay. Um,
But with that in mind, the exchange and everything from the guild, there seemed to be a decent amount of inventory.
so the local area is kind of like wartime economy.
Indeed.
Okay, that makes sense. Would we be able? Is there anywhere I feel would be able to we'd be able to exchange the gems we have for like gold, or like exchange/sell?
There are definitely a few places. From like if you'd like to roll me an investigation check, and give you more information.
Okay. Investigation. Quick. Yeah.
So from like the word you're hearing, like around the area is that there are shops that will exchange, but at the moment they're not giving out the best of prices. Some people have even used the words of cheated out of coin.
All right. I mean, I'll still step in.
Sure. I mean, unless there's anything specific, you can give me a persuasion check and then let me know what you're trying to sell.
What is there like a name to this shop that I'm currently in, or is like is it is there a look to it? Like, what are they selling? What are my other options here, kind of thing.
Let me
what's
pull
my
up
environment?
the shop list. But while I'm pulling this up, while each of you are making your way around, taking care of just these miscellaneous things, Orth and Nalra will, give you like your bit of privacy, but still kind of tagging along. But if you guys go into shops, like, letting you take care of your own business. But along the way, while each of you find yourselves a slight distance away from the Corn Silk Rat Guild Hall, this is when Nalra will pipe up and mention, well, as I said, Samira is just about a week's time away. We expect her to be here right at the beginning of the month, according to her last message.
Do we know how many units she's bringing with her?
From the note, it seems to be, in the hundreds, not maybe the thousands.
Oh,
So in this shop, I just hit a button and it fucking made me lose my place. But will be like a variety of gems, fine wares, like clothing, things of that nature. Onyx, you'll actually recognize this as Burton's Fancy Wares, where you had acquired some jewelry and things of that nature.
Mhm.
As you make your way back in, Burton will stand there with the thin white hair. And, well, my lady, so wonderful to see you back. You've brought friends.
Yes, of course. Told you I'd be back.
Unfortunately, not much of the inventory has changed, but you're free to browse.
Thank you.
This is something perhaps we could help you with. We have come into upon our travels and trades. Our caravan has run into gems of fine quality that perhaps you could perhaps make into finer wares for your sake, or just to use as currency if that is your will. We would like to see if you are interested in buying such wares.
Hmm. What is it? A few rubies? Maybe a pearl that you've stumbled upon?
It is more than that. We have some jade, obsidian, and some fine quartz as well. Not fine enough to be called a diamond, mind you, but it's certainly well enough to make for fine costume and bejeweling of an entire dress.
Obsidian is a god awful in appearance. It's, well, hideous to say the least. Don't find much need for it in this city. Well, as of late, not much need for any type of wares of the sort, but the court sounds of something of use.
I had
Yes, let me see it.
and I'll flip over one quartz as just a example that I was carrying with me. The rest of it is still in the dream.
Oh, this is a nice quality. You can see a chip here. Well, we need to be cut down just a bit. I can give you 25 gold for it.
Well, we do have how you say much more where that came from. Uh, how, how many pieces would you be interested in?
Perhaps if I buy multiple, you could cut me a bit of a deal. Say 5 for 100 gold.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could do that. I am surprised that you do not need more than that, though.
To be honest, it's about all I can afford.
Then I suppose this is acceptable. Uh, one moment, please, and I'll step. Do you? I will need to. I will need to retrieve it. One moment, and I will step out of the shop.
I was
And
really hoping you were going to do it in the shop.
yeah, no. Step out of the shop, preferably into an alley, and then I'll zip into the dream. And I would like to grab 10 obsidian, 10 jade, and 10 quartz.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you step outside, Nalra will just add on. There was a bit more to that before we made our way in. But then as like you kind of like scurry around, then go grab the items,
Yeah.
paying more attention at the task at hand, then you can exchange the 5 for 100, 5 quartz for 100 gold.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of it to my inventory. That's it is a shame. It is a shame that we could not do more business, but in brighter times, I suppose you will see more of me. It is great to make your business.
Oh, yes, thank you. These should fetch a fine price indeed.
So 5 quartz, 10 jade, 10 obsidian. And I'm marking this. I'm going to re-add the 100 gold as party loot on the sheet instead of adding it to my own.
Sure.
It's not as much as I wanted, but it is at the very least acceptable. And then I'm going to hold on to the rest in case, because I imagine we're going to have to trade these off piecemeal is what this sounds like. But, like we're passing off fake dollars or something like that. Counterfeit style, I guess.
Trace, for your arrows and any like the darts and everything that you had mentioned, Rekid, for things of that manner, you can get them at the guild hall and they will be free of cost, just as the other armor and things were only asking for donations for
I already assumed that.
Yep, but just
but-
making sure.
But in general, Kadia, are we after anything specific? Are we looking to buy anything specific at the moment?
The only thing I can really think of is maybe tools to make us better with our crafting, or maybe like fresh materials, like
Right. Right. Yeah,
Wait.
makes sense.
uh,
If I'm not mistaken, because some of these, like the storylines don't, but some of the items that were offered, I'm pretty sure it was you guys though. Like you guys had found like better blacksmithing and tools of that nature.
we had, yeah.
I was like 90% sure it was this game, but I was like, I could be wrong.
Yeah, but we haven't got better. Like, I mean, a woodcarver knife for me.
I will ask. Do you, hey, what is? I apologize, sir. I never learned your name. The guy I sold the gems to at the Birds and Ware, I think it was.
You want to take a guess at what you think his name might be?
Bertson.
There you go.
George.
Yep. Fair enough. I seem
Indeed, it is Bertson.
to have. Would you? My tools. Well, they are a bit older. Do you perchance have any jewel crafting lenses, fine jewel crafting lenses, um, or gem cutters that I could purchase from you?
No, that's not necessarily my cup of tea. Perhaps you would wish to consult with a more of someone that dabs into such things. Here, the clobbering time towards the center of town is quite nice for such things.
I do know someone who dabs. Points to Record.
Roll to dab.
It's like, well,
Performance
yes.
check.
Are you proficient?
No one is proficient.
No. Well.
Having some quality hash oil. There you go.
Okay. Well, I'll remember that.
Well, if that is it for our exchange, then perhaps I can get to work on making these into a little bit more of finer wares, maybe decorated with a bit of silver.
Yes, and if, well, thank you for your business, Fine Bertson. I will see you again, I am sure. Goodbye.
Anything for the rest of you?
I'm good, thank you.
Sam.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with the clothes on my back, personally.
Oh, Jims, a poor man's rabbit.
And giving each of you like a nice nod. Well, good day. And each of you can begin to exit. Returning to the company of Orth and Nalra. Yeah, well, if it's not too much, I'd like to finish, well, my worry. And perhaps why I think it best that we may just leave this place.
Yes, what is it you were thinking?
Well, as each of you know, Samira is planning on having Bradgar removed from power, stepping down.
Yes.
Well, my fear is that it's not going to be that simple. And as Nalva looks around, each of you kind of just meet Orth's like facial expression for a moment, and you can see him looking almost as pale as a ghost at this point. Cold sweats going down, and he just looks really rough.
Is that because of what the conversation is, or just because of the fight?
Because of the
think?
conversation.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think that she plans on assisting the city at all.
Oh.
Do you think she would step as far as to lay siege to Lahles?
I think that is her intent.
Well, it would be a short-lasted siege. I'm sure that she would be under assault from the snake people the entire time. She would not be able to get close to enough to the city to siege it without laying forces in waste to them first.
But I don't believe that that is what she is worried about. I think she plans on starving the city. We know that there is a force to set up on the west side. Well, with the bridge out, they should be hindered with that distance of the river. But to the north, a ship blockade is to be set.
How? By who?
By Samira. The
She
naval
is.
forces that she promised will not be used to help the city.
So, this entire time, she was intending to use Leo's weakness as what, a setting for a second war?
If I'm understanding what her order is correctly, I believe she found an opportunity while Bradgar's under attack with these Yuan-Ti. Well, taking down a wounded creature is much easier than chasing down a healthy one.
I suppose so. Her ire for Bradgar does seem great. Do you really not know why she hates him so? Is there any clue that you have as to her leaning and why?
Nara will just shake her head no. I do not.
Orth, you seem quite pale. Do you want to say
I feel
something?
sick. We came to help, and well, I feel that we were just misled. Me and Nora thought about it for a little bit, and perhaps it is best that we just go.
So you think so she lied to you too? She didn't tell you this. Was this news and the messages from her sense, or was this your deduction?
Yes, she asked that we relay any information, numbers, morale, anything that may be of use. And then at this point, Nara will begin to look around, making sure as you guys are going through the city that it doesn't seem to be catching anyone's attention.
I am so sorry that you have been burdened in this way. You are obviously caught between two very large opposing forces, just as we are. We
Well, then
fear
we should flee.
for
We
this-
should run.
we fear for this coming war between our two peoples, but if we must do something about this, we are at the center of this. We are the only ones who can find a way to pull everyone past this. From our position, we can affect Bradgar and Samira. We can perhaps help them turn the cheek so that it does not come to war between our people.
Can I insight see how genuine they are about this whole conversation?
Indeed. Feel free. Give me an insight check there, Krev.
Oh, Nate.
Wow. Casual nat 20. All right,
Hey.
nice.
With that, I think it's safe to say you find every word that they are saying to be quite truthful. The worrisome of wanting to speak outside of the guild of this manner, making sure that, or at least requesting that each of you accompany them along with their walk, and also not wanting to stay at the guild.
And them not having any clues to their past relationship between the two guild leaders.
Yeah, so like all the information that they have
Yeah.
portrayed so far, like pretty much confirms that
Yeah.
you feel that everything that they're telling you is true.
I mean, this isn't something they would tell us if they didn't trust us.
Right.
They would have just let us believe we were going to be getting help.
If,
Yes,
if that was the case, this would have been a hell of a play.
I think it's safe to say, Krev with the natural 20, with what you just mentioned, is pretty much hitting the nail right on the head without saving their lives and other things of that manner, making them feel as if you guys are friends by at least a little bit of the means. They would have not told you this information.
And we've been trusting them this whole time, and we're waiting to get stabbed in the back. Like,
I would like to point out of character that I'm currently holding a 500 gold piece platinum ruby ring that was stolen from one of them.
from one of these two?
Yes.
Who would
What?
steal something like that? That's
Yeah,
would do
Trace,
that?
who would do something
Who
like
would do
that?
such a thing?
And with that mystery, let's just take a quick break. We're well over it. We did start like a tad bit later. Not too much, but we're a little over our time for a break, but just enough to use the bathroom and whatnot. So let's just take less than 5 minutes and we'll be right back.
All right, sounds good.
But with the new mystery of who stole the ring, Trace,
Yep.
I guess
Oh,
we'll
you-
figure that out when we get
oh.
back.
Oh,
Who could it have
expensive
been?
rings. That's just a poor man's rabbit.
All right, we're swapping back. And back to figuring out who stole this ruby fucking ring.
I mean, who?
He must have been really, really smart and really, really awesome.
And possibly even invisible in the dark.
Perhaps.
That too. Could be. You never know.
Well, I did feel it almost obligated to tell each of you. We were hoping that we may be able to leave off to the east. That's with the information of the road being dangerous. Oh, it's better than running back into Samira and, well, staying here to potentially die.
That is fair.
A solid plan, honestly.
Honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to leave. I doubt the guild would have us leave town.
Yes, I'm sure you would have to do so on your own. But if you did so, I certainly would not blame you, and, well...
Well, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if you had trouble leaving just the two of you. What the guild's gonna notice? They probably have eyes watching you normally.
And that's why we wish to talk out in the streets versus in that hall. Well, nonetheless, the decisions that we seem to be left with are staying here and fighting along the each of you, if you choose to stay, in the Corn Silk Rat, while Samira waits for her moment to strike.
Another option is to stay and attempt to assuage the differences between the two sides.
And if those words fall on deaf ears, then maybe it's best that we have already made our leave. But if each of you are choosing to stay, well, it may pay to have someone not only watch your backs, but to watch ours as well.
Well, we are with you. We care for you. We understand what drives you, but unfortunately, well, at least I feel somewhat culpable in the fate of this city, and I do wish to save its denizens and attempt to keep whatever comes next from happening.
It almost sounds as though Samira doesn't want Lahles. She just wants Bragdar to be brought down.
Well,
Why would she destroy the city that she potentially could profit from?
I think that's why she wishes to cut off any supplies that may be making their way in. If she can hold the outskirts and stay far enough away, well, the less that get in, the more likely they're to be caught by the Yuan-Ti.
Well, we know the Yuan-Ti are sitting in the waters. I feel like Samira is going to be ambushed if she thinks she can sit there outside the city walls.
Okay. Yes.
I don't think that tactic is going to work very long.
Well, if she has sent Orth and I to our death and to perish with the rest of the guild here, then serves her right.
Can I insight that?
Sure.
Does he really think that? I would assume they're loyal to her. Oh, shit.
I would not assume that at this point.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe not anymore, but...
The information, you're fairly certain that, there's definitely a bit of resentment in the statement and in the tone.
I mean, it. So this is what I'm thinking out of character or in character, but I'm saying it out of character. If they were sent to this city and the city is under siege and they're on this side of the siege, that means that all the starvation that she's going to be doing, like, and all the war that they're going to be the first people that are going to be imprisoned when this goes down.
Oh yeah, they're going to be hostages basically.
Not even like they might just be straight up executed.
Yeah.
Like as soon as Samira makes an aggressive move, they are the first on the hit list.
Well,
By the way, we're second. So
yeah. Well, I feel like they're a bargaining chip, but it was what I was going to say to persuade Samira not to do something like that. But
the other,
You're welcome.
why'd you say that?
Oh, extra things to worry about.
Yeah,
I can hear it in your voice. You're like, fuck.
It's like, yeah,
Quick question.
yes.
Me or Kadir?
Who's the second in command? Say, she becomes indisposed. Who takes the helm?
Good question. Finally, someone asks something necessary.
Oh, for the wheat civet?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was said to be me.
You?
Interesting.
does she not have any loyalty to her own people? Or is her hatred for Bragdar just that deep-rooted?
Oh my god, I don't want to do this.
But either way,
I do.
I do.
Yeah.
Let me. Well, I suppose in a week's time we will have a decision that needs to be made. Oh god, I do not like this. Ye gods.
You see now why we may think it best for us to leave.
Yes.
I feel like it would be suicide leaving too, though. Walking into the UNT.
We'd rather take our chances with them than stay here a slow death.
Of the two, of Samira and Bradgar, who do you believe the greater evil? You have known Samira for a very long time. Is she fair? Is she kind?
Well, of course, at this point, I feel a bit betrayed, to say the least, as Nalra's voice raises. Both of Orth and Nalra seeming a bit out of character, to say the least. Nalra usually with the soft voice, Orth now being quite withdrawn. I think it's safe to say, though, that I feel a bit betrayed to say that someone, fighting these monsters to save others is worse than being stabbed in the back and left to die. I feel hardly a call.
I don't know about that. It'd be quite a quick death. Betrayal lasts forever.
So I guess to answer your question more directly, at the moment it does seem that Bradgar is a more honorable individual.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
there's still so much we do not know.
if you were to align yourselves with Bradgar, he may take kindly to this kind of information.
Facts.
So what, we tell him of what we have learned? And
If Samira has turned her back on you, if you were to defect to the Bradgar's guild, that is like Black Ops kind of information, to be honest. I mean,
I would frame it differently, personally.
So what
I
we
mean, this is
explain to
espionage.
Bradgar what we've learned and just hope that he is merciful. And he doesn't think that this is a ploy, a plot against him in any way.
I mean, you have no reason to go to him if it were. You're coming out to him. If you wanted him to truly be brought down by Samira here, you would keep your mouth shut. You have no reason to bring this to him.
That
The
And-
fact that you're bringing it to him is reason enough.
and there is another way to pose this. If you say that you have the intention of replacing Samira, and that you will aid Lahles as an ally, that would be, were you to be replaced as the leader of the Wheat Civet, then, well, Bradgar would take indeed very kindly to that.
Well, if each of you think that that is something worth trying, then perhaps we can think on it for the night and
I
maybe
would
come out with
probably,
this with clearer heads.
I would maybe propose that we speak with Renus about this first.
No, I do
No?
not think we should burden him with such information.
He
I think
seems to convince Bradgar more easily than the rest of us, though.
we still do not know if that is how true that will be. We have much to speak with him already. I think it is as you say. I think you should sit on it and make up your minds. But I agree. If you should run from the city if you quit the fight. Go to the north if you cannot abide either side. But if you choose, while you are here, I believe you must defect and side with Bradgar and ally yourself with him against Samira in secret.
Let's not mix words here. We wish to support a coup, right?
Of a coup of Samira, yes.
Yes. We're not looking to absorb the wheat civets. We merely want to put in a more trustworthy and friendly leader. More aligned with our own goals.
Not just that, but just someone who is not actively hostile to our goals. Or actively hostile to us, preferably.
Yes, on my list of goals is to not die.
It's like reads down list of goals. Ah, yes, here at the bottom. Not dying.
At the bottom. Well, with that, Orth will chime in. So, what you all are going to fight for him? What if what Samira says is true? Bradgar's no better.
And we still haven't really seen real evidence.
Could play it as a 2 coups for the price of 1.
Oh my god. Two coups.
I mean,
Let's
far
just
as
end
we're-
both of them and take over ourselves.
as far as we're concerned, Samira has already shown her dirty hands. From what you're telling us.
Yes, she has negotiated in bad faith, whereas Radgar, although he has not shown us immediate, although he has acted oddly, has not shown any negativity in his hand.
Whatever evidence she has on Bradgar, whatever he's done bad in the past, could it really be bad as what her intentions are to do when she gets here? I find it hard to believe that they're worse than that.
In the end, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, the fact that matters is that everything that these two are doing is like slowing us down. I don't really care who is right or who's wrong, to be honest. I just want it to end.
Yes, these sides will not. A house divided against itself will not stand, and neither will these two forces defeat the 1T alone.
Well, if she does come with, as she stated, hundreds, near the thousands of men and warriors. Well,
In the end, I mean, in the end, I guess it's about who gives us the biggest chance of winning, right?
well, my worry is with the dwindling numbers here, then we'll may meet a swift end, as you said, Trace, but maybe not the one that we so desire.
Fair. I'm not a man of politics anyway, so I just prefer getting things done.
I feel like in a week's time, this is going to get very politically sticky. Out of character. Well, so I think that is the suggestion that we have. We think you should stand with Bradgar, but as friends, we understand your plight and your need for survival. We will not or at least I have no intention of hampering you. I believe the rest of the band does not intend this either.
Well, I do feel a bit better getting that off my chest. It's been wavering heavily on me for the couple of days now. But
What
yes,
it's important that you get rest now. No matter what comes next, you must be strong for it. Please.
well, if your friend will accept us into his home, please send word. If not, we will perhaps find lodging at a tavern. Even if it does cost a few coin, we have a few things to be able to part ways with in exchange.
All right. Very well. We will meet you. We will meet you with Renus upon his return.
Well, I think it's best that we keep breathing in a bit of fresh air. We'll meet you back at the guild hall near sunset.
Near sunset.
Well,
Be strong, my friends.
and you as well. We'll see you in just a few hours' time. And as Orth and Nalra begin to make their way away, if there's nothing else that any of you would like to do, of course we can fast forward to when I guess is the next thing that we need to take care of.
I would like to work on the what is it? The rune inscriber. I had created the what was it called? The
mold.
Yeah. Which I guess was relatively simple process, but
Mhm.
I would like to continue, and I would like to try and make the rest of it. Do I have a calculation for how many hours that would take?
It's just gonna, I mean, other than needing like a high source of heat, which is easily done, whether a forge or a spell, something of that manner, and then just needing to spend like the 6 to 8 hours, but it is this is a variant on how well the roll goes.
Okay. Krev, would you be willing to help me create the mold? I would very much require your aid with your use of bonfire, as well as your
Is-
smithing knowledge.
As long as I get to actually rest, I don't know how that is. That considered light activity? I mean, I'm assuming either
If
we're
you-
resting now or we're
If
resting
you
tonight.
do it
It's kinda
today,
hard.
it's not going to make a difference because you've already had combat this morning.
Right.
So if you do cast a spell and take care of it today, then it's not going to hinder you.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Well, I wasn't sure if we were trying to get our short rest like now during the daytime or tonight. Like you
By
said,
the time the short
is it really
rest is-
24 hours or an
By
8
the
hour
time the short
period?
rest is over, it will be like getting into the night.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Then I guess I'll help him.
And if I could ask you, Trace, if you could work on the quarterstaff for me when you have some free time, that would be very appreciated.
Sure, I'll do that.
All right. In that case, what mod should I be using for the smithing check?
For this one in particular, can you add your intelligence modifier?
Very well.
I'll just follow Kadir's instructions of what to do with the quarterstaff.
What exactly, like, is he beginning to just like craft a new quarterstaff, or?
This is to be the quarterstaff slash casting implement that eventually I'm going to make magical. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, Trace, with that roll, you can get that done. Within the time for the rest of the day.
And I would also like to lend him my wood crafting tools if it's not too late. I'm sorry, I didn't know he was rolling so soon.
I didn't
I have
either. But if you would like to, I mean, I'll add. I think what is it, a +1 or +2?
2.
Oh, you have
2.
yeah.
So a 16. And
And guidance.
I'll give it to you. You're a little quick on the draw, but I'll allow
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I didn't really think, to be honest. I just did.
19. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you get a. Let me check the table. I think that's a +1 quarterstaff.
Huh.
Yep, +1.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make the smithing with advantage and guidance. Go.
That's good.
29.
Yeah, you get it done a little bit quicker than you anticipated. Thinking it's going to take roughly 8 hours of time, you actually get this done in under 6. It's about 5 hours needed while absorbing the heat and then molding together.
So I'm sorry, what does that use as far as my resources? Is that the...
To make the mold is just like clay or something of that material. If you're making the rod itself, it's diamond dust.
I already made the mold to my knowledge, so I think that was the diamond.
Okay, so as long as you have 250 gold worth of diamond, which I'm pretty sure you do,
Yep.
then after like crushing it down, I mean, if there's any particular way you'd like to do it, that doesn't matter. It's just a time thing as well. Usually with like a strength check of some sort, but it's variant again on how you'd like to do it. But that for making the rod, you can get that done within the night of work for sure. Or I guess I should say for the time of day it is for you guys before night even hits. But my question for each of you is, I mean, are you all getting this done back at the tower, or is there a different process that you're going about it?
I feel like we would have to be at the tower, wouldn't we?
Well, and we also were going to ask if they could stay with us there too, so we needed to go there anyways.
And this probably puts us close to sunset, so...
Oh yeah, I just wanted to double check on where exactly you guys were. Of course you're not doing this in the middle of the street, so I figured top 2 options, either the guild hall or the tower.
The way that I would break down and crush the crush the diamond dust is I would use the the force of my spell to just kind of like break it down into dust, and then pouring it into the end of the iron mold, which I'm assuming it would be like an iron chisel with like a diamond edge is how I'm kind of imagining this.
I envisioned it, and I mean, I guess like it doesn't really matter. The diamond dust molds into more of like a pitten,
Mhm.
basically like a really large sidewalk chalk, but like basically.
Nice.
Cool.
So then that way I had it this way for just a particular reason. So like once it's completed, can you give me an investigation check?
All right, I can. $21.
Nice. So with this, I mean, this comes out really, really well done. Not only did it take you less time, but this is, I mean, from what you're gathering, of an immaculate object that you've just created. Overall, taking a look at it, you would know that, I mean, there's a bit more information to learn about it, but to give you a bit more insight, comparing it from what you have read in your book on how to actually go about making these magic items, you would know that this holds over 10 charges. The charges being equal to a spell. Starting with cantrips being 1, mechanically speaking.
Wow. And what does it mean? What does it mean to have like a spell level on this item?
So for the pitten in particular, say you were to imbue an item with like a cantrip, it would take 1 charge away from the pitten. And then at that point, I would be able to give you more information on exactly pretty much like how much you feel like this is going to last. So if you do like a level 1 spell, that's 2 charges into the pitten.
Okay. Would that be? So when I'm casting, like, it sounds like I'd be casting spell levels into the pitten and then using that to inscribe magical effects onto items.
Indeed.
Would I be able to make magical items that are in the DMG?
Yeah. I mean, if like basically how I've put it forth is like if you want to like name it something else, that's always cool. But I mean, like say you wanted to like legitimately make like a bag of holding, like that can be done. We would just have to compare it to like what that would, you know, be like, maybe like a levitate spell or something like comparable.
So
But
the
yes,
way that
you
I
can.
think I'll do this is I'll probably, in the order that I'm making items for people, I'll probably get into discussion with that player, talk with them about what they want, and then I'll come back to you and try to convert that into like an item crafted
Well,
that would
well,
be able to do
for
together.
the way that Kyle described it, I mean, I wouldn't need a lot. I would just need like a cantrip, like a firebolt or something on a bow.
Yeah, I mean, just for like another good example without getting, I guess, like a 2-bit off the rails, when this was done in like a different game, when they basically used the chill touch cantrip to put that into, I think it was like a rapier or a scimitar, I can't remember.
Mhm.
But like that in particular process, when they did it, it's like, you know, every time they hit, that goes off. So it's, you know, I mean, it's always variable, right? Because I made like a table for it, but just for an example. So for Trace, like if you made an arrow or his bow do like a firebolt with it as well, or some type of fire damage, then that's only 1 charge. And for him, pretty effective because he don't fucking miss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the priority for Trace is just making the weapon magic.
Well,
If that makes sense.
Again, just giving you an example. I'm not sure exactly like what the idea is. Maybe someone wants like boots of speed to increase their movement or something. I don't know. Whatever you guys are going for. The options are, as I look at it, almost limitless.
Did you say 10 charges?
From the inspection, he believes it to be over 10. But without using it, he's not going to know for sure.
I'm just gonna put Diamond Pitten 10 plus.
Yep. I mean, you'll find out as soon as you use it. But upon the completion, Trace, you finish in the quarterstaff. That comes out fairly decent. Nothing that couldn't be improved upon in, practicing this, but definitely had to fight away the urge from just carving a bow. But with the time passed, sure enough, as each of you are just waiting about, the only thing that would have necessarily been of any note is the goblin twins, of course, wanting to play with Onyx and perhaps do some more training with the arcane arts. But other than that, just before the sun sets, as you all can still see a bit of light outside of the windows, as just the fire crackles and books are being flipped through, making sure that your processes of crafting and making sure these are all taken care of and done correctly. But eventually the door does open and Renus makes his way in. You can see his robes and the multitude of colors upon them, but they do appear a bit rough in appearance. Not only is the muck from the sewer, all the waste and that familiar smell meet each of your noses, you see that there are some slash markings and cuts along Renus as well. That was not how I think you all would put it as a most pleasant experience.
Were there more down there?
Oh, yes, just to say the least, yes. But we did need to spend quite a bit of time figuring out what to do. Apparently, we had spent too long. Well, we were able to make our way out, and only taking bits of wounds. Oh, and I don't even know where to begin with this, but a large, I believe, 7-headed snake begun to make their way out of the portal. Oh.
Yes.
Before it went down into the water, a hand nearly the size of the creature that had just made its way through begun to make its way through the portal. And with claws, bandages wrapped around it. It's just ungodly appearance. But I was able to shut off the portal for now. But I know that it's not going to hold. We need more power.
What kind of power?
I need extra hands. Bradgar will do just fine. But we've found it best to request some help from Vala. And also Bluxmouth. In hopes that they will join our efforts.
What kind of power are you needing to shut this portal down? Magic or?
A lot of magic.
Like, what kind of spells are you looking at?
Specifically, I'm quite unsure. I'm hoping that Radgar will have some answers after reading some journals from his family. But
I mean, I recently learned one spell that dispels magic, but by itself, I don't think it will do anything. But maybe working with your spells at the same time, I might
that
be
is
able
what
to
I
help put a
found.
dent.
I gave it my best shot with that spell myself, and it seemed to weaken it, but not close it entirely. I feel that we need multitudes of power. If if Yaren from Bluxmouth accepts our invitation, having a paladin of her stature would, well, that would seal the deal. We'd be able to cut them off from our world.
Yes, that would be quite a boon. That would end this war before that would end this war. Well, it seems we have made great progress this day. I hope that you did not lose any men.
No, just a bit as you, I guess, took a bit of a smack on the ass on the way out, but nothing that didn't give them a bit more pep in their step. No one fell behind. I stayed behind, making sure that each of the men got out alive. But that is when that large claw began to appear. When I sealed the portal, the claw itself severed and then dissipated, almost burning away from as if acid were poured on top of it.
Well, that I fear that would be their king.
Maybe it's related to them not being from this plane.
You know, if that is their king, and we have enough powerful individuals in one spot to fight it, I mean, perhaps we could kill it forever.
Perhaps.
If Yaren from Blacksmouth is as devout a paladin as you say, and of course we have yourself, and if we have Bradgar and all of us, we could make a go at slaying this creature.
Better yet, and maybe destroy whatever it is that's giving it access to the sewers. Perhaps it's best to just destroy it rather than chance anyone's lives.
That would be preferable if possible. If it is large enough that if it is truly that large, we have considered burying the portal as an option, but I fear that will not help very much. I mean, it would still be there, it would still be trying, although it may not find it possible to come through easily. I fear that given enough time, it would. It may just buy us time. But if we need time to be bought, collapsing that entire area until collapsing that entire area may be an option.
Well, buying time is always a good thing in a time of war. Gives us a bit more opportunity to absorb our pieces and the maneuvers made about the board. But, well, I do hope that reinforcements arrive soon. Because if that thing makes it through, we'll need as many warriors as possible.
Well, all right. What of we were wanting to speak with you anyhow. You have been so kind to us. You have allowed us to stay. We have spoken to Orthan Nalra, the denizens of Mido. They are not finding much comfort at the guild, uh, and have asked your request to stay here if possible.
Well, I can see where their comfort becomes in a bit of question. Unfortunately, I cannot extend an open invitation into my home. Bradgar has been keeping them under a close watch, to say the least. He is beginning to believe them to, well, be spies. In fact, I do believe his hope was that when each of you had gone down into the sewers, that they may have perished in that endeavor. But from the sounds of it, each of you, well, worked together, probably assumingly as such as needed, and saving them from certain death as well.
Yes, I still hope very much he does not feel the same way about us. We all need to band together as much as we can in these trying times, even with those of Mido.
Well,
We must all be receptive and open to our compatriots.
I must say, when speaking with him upon my return, he seemed to have nothing but high regards for each of you. And apparently, well, let's just say the gift that you had brought in him seemed to go over quite nicely.
It was not intended as a gift. I was hoping you had brought it back, actually. I
Brought in what
presume
back?
it was the compass.
What about it?
I presumed that I well, I presumed that you would be bringing it back to me.
I thought it was mine to do as I wish. I've to to make my call if, well, I presumed Bradgar to be worthy of it, then I can give it to him. I thought that was the deal.
This is a minor misunderstanding, I think. I was merely curious if he would know what it is, and he obviously did.
I
Wish
think you misunderstand. Well, while I did give him the compass, of course, but it wasn't until after him mentioning of the Yanti that you had brought in him.
really.
Yes, I'm not fully aware of the information gained, but from what I have gathered in my conversation with him, it seemed to be quite useful.
Did he know what it was, though? Like, that is what we wish to know, and we are at a loss as to determining what exactly it is.
He did not mention. He uh, looked at it, I suppose, as a nice gesture.
Oh,
Just something to maybe reflect upon with the new friendships growing.
oh, very well. It appears I misunderstood your meaning.
With the worry that you had put in on that thing, I did want to be a bit cautious on how I went about determining if it should be his, but after what he had said about each of you and the return of the auntie, well, I myself did not see any reason to be worrisome.
Yes, very well.
But I am I'm quite concerned if the information I had gathered is correct. The one that I had seen with the multiple heads, the 7, is referenced as the queen. Well, then there seems to be 2 amongst our area. While
Even 3.
possibly
Wait, were you relayed the information from our interrogation?
a bit, but not too much.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we were told by the interrogee, or whatever the word that is, there were 3 queens and a king.
Yes, but confirmed 2 have made it through. At least that's what we've seen. As Kadir said, there might be a 3rd already amongst the area.
Yes, it is very important that we do our best to secure the portal, the area around it, and separate the enemy forces so that the enemies are stuck in the portal and the enemies out here can be fought manually. The destruction of the king is technically a secondary objective to this. Getting as many forces as we can to take out the forces out here, that puts a number on them. That puts a date on them if they are separated from their liege via this portal. So if we secure the portal, we have effectively cut their forces in half, or at least into 2 pieces.
I agree, which is why I had proposed to Bradgar that we cut this off one way or another, destroying or severing the path. I assume that you all did see the giant hole that's laid beneath the water.
Yes.
Either collapsing the room, destroying the portal, one way or another. I feel that this to be our best option. And, well, let's be honest. While Sir Riven is a voice that Bradgar will listen to, he is just a sword. Whatever plan sounds more, how would you say, for a simple-minded, enticing, it seems to be the one that he will lean towards. But I'm sure Bradgar has got some plans of his own.
Yes. Well, I think now is the time for rest. You have had a very rough day, as have we. We will speak to Orth and Nara and advise them that we cannot, that they cannot be sheltered here.
My worry is that if Bradgar is correct and they are spies, well, by any means, I fear that it's bad enough that you all are affiliated with them. To say the least, me vouching for each of you. Well, with war comes paranoia.
Yes.
I hope that he does not succumb to such.
I mean, why did we go to Mito if we can't even associate with them? Were they not to be allies?
They have already sacrificed 90% of their men for us. I think to spit in the face of such tragedy would be worse than despicable right now. I understand the lack of trust, but
My worry is that Bradgar looks at it as a, well, potential issue, to say the least. But as you said, you all need rest, and I do as well. Need to check on my boys.
of course. Please stay safe.
And then with that, as each of you begin to get ready for rest, that is where we'll call tonight's session. So this way I can hand out experience with Trace being here and make sure everything is caught up.
Nice.
Nice.
Yo.
So we live in 8 now?
No. So the last time you all had been updated from my notes, just to confirm, was each of you were at 8,855.
I don't keep track, so I wouldn't know.
Okay,
That's what I had too.
So you
yeah.
agree with me. Thank you, Trace.
Yeah.
I had the same, but
Yes.
yeah, unless we had another update that I missed.
That is
Okay.
where I'm.
So from last session, our nearly full combat, little bit of RP, combined with the previous session, now that you guys are getting your rest and all that good stuff, each of you will bring in, and just for the record, this does also go to Orth and Nalra as well. But each of you will bring in 2,620 experience for the previous 2 sessions, which should put everyone at 11,475.
That's 2.5K away, I think, isn't it?
Well, to 14,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But then with tonight's session and the information learned and the potential issues, not only Samira and the Wheat Civet threat, but also whatever threat seems to be looming over to the east, as each of you had found out what Bradgar believes to be a Yanti encampment over in the area. But with that, and then also the temple rising in the empty tide sea is like another issue to deal with. The 3 queens and the king information learned. Each of you will bring in 750 experience from tonight's session, which should put everyone at a grand total of 12,225.
I would like to point out we have a 1T palace in the south. We have fleets coming in from the north. We have an army coming in from the west, and a 1T encampment to the east.
We are surrounded.
We are literally surrounded.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we called Orth and Nara over to sit with us, because that would have been a nasty blindside if we hadn't talked to them.
I think it's safe to say that, and then also saving Orth was a pretty fucking big deal. If you guys left him to die, then
Yeah.
whoo, that could have led to some other twists and turns more at inopportune times.
Yeah.
Let
mean-
me die, I'm sorry.
Orth?
Yeah,
Fine.
like if you guys didn't save him, that could have been a big turning thing.
I think we healed him like 2 or 3 times. Like,
I mean,
like
if we if Orth and I think they probably either just would have left at that point, or Nara would have just left at that point, or she would have been full spy. At which point, I mean, honestly, she probably would have ended up dying either way in the long run. So that would have been something that made me feel awful further down the road. Thanks for that.
Hey, I'm just glad that there's like a growing bond in between like these NPCs, so then like stuff that happens is actually like somewhat impactful.
I'm
Yeah.
just stuck between NPCs. I'm like, oh wow, you're going to die if we don't help you. And look, all these other people who are going to die. Like, this has worked its way into a kind of intricate web of, boy, I hope they don't die.
it's gonna become a who do I have to pick to save, because we're surrounded on 4 different sides.
It's not even going to be that. It's going to be like, who do we have to kill so everyone else can survive? Because it's looking like either Bradgar or Samira or both need to go.
I feel like that's after the Yuan T situation, though.
We can have a little bit more discussion, but let me pull us offline.
Yeah.
I hope everyone enjoyed tonight and had a good time, especially each of you, the players, and of course also anyone watching on Twitch in the VODs or on YouTube, other things of the nature. Also, more things coming in. I'm gonna do my best, because I'm awful at it normally, to be doing a bit more with social media, Twitter, Facebook, things of that manner. but more info to come on that later. But just want to give a special shout out to Sword Coast Soundscapes for the ambiance music, Lady Loxer for the art, the logo, and the player art, and 2 Minute Tabletops for the map and map assets. Their logos are in the top left. You can find their links down below with the respective photos and images. But have a good night. Got a game tomorrow with the Raven's Nest as they finish out their encounter with 2 dragons during the Trial of Strength. That game at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I had forgotten.
You're welcome. That was also a reminder for you, Kadir. Everyone have a good night. And hope to see you next time. Have a good week.
See ya.
Oh, yeah.